Hello, I'm attorney Thomas Burton. I'm an estate planning and asset protection attorney here in Wisconsin. And today I'm going to cover another topic in my estate planning education series. And this is one that I see come up after someone has formed a trust, whether a revocable living trust or an irrevocable living trust. And it's how do I fund my trust? So whether you work with my office or another lawyer, or you're considering forming a trust, let's say you've just completed forming a trust, or you formed a trust many years ago, and you're reading up more on it today, and you're seeing this terminology about funding a trust, okay? And you're wondering, what does that mean, fund my trust, and is my trust funded? Well, the first step before you can fund a trust is first you must form the trust, okay? So to actually form the trust, I tell my clients, the day we form the trust is the day you sign it. Our trusts are in writing on paper, and when you sign it as the person creating it, we also call you the grantor, sometimes the settlor, or you may hear it called the trustor, okay? That's the person who creates the trust. The date you sign is generally the date your trust springs into life. So when you hear a living trust, it means it's a trust you created during your life, and it comes into being on that date you sign, okay? And then from then on, you'll often reference this date as the date of your trust. So the first step is to form the trust, meaning make a legal trust in the state of Wisconsin or whatever state you're in. You must form the trust under the laws of that state. After it's formed, then we get to the funding. And there's a lot of assets we can place into a trust. So I tell my clients there's your life before a trust and your life after a trust. Often, before you have a trust, you have assets. All your assets are in your individual name, okay? So you just have them as whatever your name is. Your house is titled in your name, your bank accounts, your brokerage accounts, stocks, bonds, they're all in your individual name as John Smith, generally. But once you form the trust, then what we've created is a new entity. Okay, and we have the trust, and think of it like a bucket. And the great thing about the trust is the trust can outlive you. So I tell my clients sometimes it's helpful to think about forming a company. When Sam Walton formed Walmart, that company outlived him. So Sam Walton died several years ago, but Walmart continues on today, even past, let's say here, Sam Walton, his death, he dies. But the company he created, Walmart, keeps going, Walmart Inc. And let's say he created it back here, middle of his life, early in his life, created Walmart. So the same with your trust, the date you create it is this date here. Then you keep living, and eventually you pass away, death here, but the trust can keep going past your life to distribute your assets or administer them according to your wishes. So just like Walmart, the trust can keep going for whatever period of time you say. Now for a revocable living trust, that's often just going to be a period of months or maybe a year to 18 months to distribute assets. If you have extra asset protection built into the trust or sub-trust for grandchildren, it could go longer, okay? But the key to think about is the great thing about a trust is you can create it today and it can continue on past your death, carrying out your wishes as you go. So then, thinking about funding your trust, and I'm just going to move, let's see, over here so you can see the assets we talked about here, the stocks, bonds, house, bank accounts. How do we get them into the trust? I prefer retitling the assets while you're alive. This is the way to get the most bang for the buck out of your trust, because you get both incapacity protection during your lifetime and after you're gone. So what we do with these assets here is we do what we call retitling them into the name of the trust. So any asset with a title, like a deed, if it has a title, deed, bank account, etc., we retitle it. That means we change the title of the trust, of the account, from your name, John Smith individual, to John Smith Living Trust. And you may see on the title at my firm, or another one, we'll give you the exact, when you're done at my firm, we give you the exact language, and I will put this UA, and that just means under agreement, and you might see DTD, dated, and let's say whatever the date is, January 1, 2020. But the name is John Smith Living Trust. So once it's created, we can retitle these assets from your individual name into the name of the trust. And for the house, we commonly do this with a quitclaim deed. So you'll see this term, and it's very easy to do. It doesn't disturb any of the protections, meaning it doesn't count as a transfer. You don't have to pay transfer tax in the state of Wisconsin. You can just put it from your individual name into the trust, and then you have the house retitled. And again, the key is once it's in the trust can outlive you in your death and keep going past your death. Now, the other thing to retitle would be bank accounts. And again, you just go to the bank and you fill out the form from John Smith Individual to John Smith Living Trust. And if you work with my office, we give you instructions on how to do this with the exact name of your trust at the end. Finally, another big thing that's really actually easy to avoid probate is your personal property. So that's all of your items of clothing, jewelry, furniture, anything without a title basically that's in your house or shed, rakes, shovels, trailers, things like that. We can assign them with an assignment of personal property under contract law to the trust. So this is again very handy because this can have significant value, and you can avoid probate on all of that by assigning it to the trust. So we fund the trust by executing that assignment, and at my office we do it on the same date we sign the trust. So right off the top, on the date you sign your trust, you can have your personal property in there immediately by executing the assignment. At my office, we include the deed to your home. We'll take care of retitling the home. We have you sign that on the deed, and then it gets recorded with the Register of Deeds. It's done in a week or two, and then you just tell the bank accounts how to retitle them into the name of the trust. You can have it all completed within 2 weeks after you sign your trust, a month if you want to take your time. But this is how you fund the trust. So then the trust has assets, because when you form it initially, the trust has no assets till you place them inside. So the word funding is really just placing the assets into the trust. And in my opinion, if you're going to take the time, effort, and expense of setting up a trust, you should fund it right away so you can gain the incapacity protection and the protection after death from a trust. Now there's other types of assets you can put in the trust. I covered the top ones today. So talk with your attorney about your specific mix of assets and what to put in there. But I wanted to create this video because I'm a visual learner, and I hope it helps you as you're thinking about your own estate planning and how to fund your trust after you've completed it. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.